And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
President Joe Biden comments on his son's federal gun trial during a wide-ranging interview. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu plans a visit to D.C. to address Congress. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Friday, June 7th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. As the prosecution is set to rest its case today in the federal gun trial of Hunter Biden, President Joe Biden says he would not grant Hunter a pardon should his son be found guilty.
Your son Hunter is on trial, and I know that you cannot speak about an ongoing federal prosecution. But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
You have.
The president speaking with ABC News during his trip to Normandy, France to commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day. President Biden is set to deliver a speech on democracy today from Point du Hoc, the site where Army Rangers scaled cliffs during the daring World War II operation. He will also be meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as the U.S. is planning to send about $225 million worth of military aid to the country in its war with Russia. During his wide-ranging interview with ABC News, President Biden defended his new executive order that has closed the southern border to migrants illegally crossing. And he spoke on the recent verdict in Donald Trump's criminal trial that found the former president guilty of falsifying business records. Biden saying Trump got a fair trial. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden will be back in court today as he is accused of illegally purchasing a gun while addicted to drugs. Hunter Biden has pleaded not guilty. On Thursday, the jury heard testimony from the widow of Hunter's brother Beau. Hallie Biden testified she threw the gun in the trash when she discovered it in Hunter's truck. She said she did not know if he was using drugs at the time. Prosecutors say they are planning on calling 2 more witnesses today before resting their case. The defense says it has not yet decided if it will call Hunter Biden to the stand. In his first campaign rally since being found guilty on 34 criminal charges, former President Donald Trump called on an appellate court to toss out his conviction. Speaking in Arizona Thursday, Trump continued calling the trial rigged and politically motivated.
We have to change the system. We have to straighten out what's going on in these courts. We got a rigged deal going this whole country. And we've got to do it. And those appellate courts have to step up and straighten things out, or we're not going to have a country any longer.
In Phoenix, where Trump's rally was held, a heat wave has lingered for several days. The temps crossing 110 degrees, leading to 11 Trump supporters being treated for heat exhaustion while waiting outside the venue before it opened. Trump is set to hold another rally on Sunday in Nevada. A judge has ordered Steve Bannon, a one-time advisor to former President Trump, to report to prison by July 1st. At a hearing on Thursday, the federal judge said Bannon must begin his 4-month sentence for defying subpoenas from the January 6th Congressional Committee. Bannon was found guilty on 2 counts of contempt of Congress in July of 2022, but his sentence had been put on hold while he appealed the case. The judge ruled that since an appeals court upheld Bannon's conviction, it was time for him to serve his sentence. Bannon could still appeal this latest ruling that he must report to prison. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will address a joint meeting of Congress during a visit to Washington, D.C. next month. In a statement, House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell saying Netanyahu will present the truth about Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza. The visit comes as tensions grow between Netanyahu and the Biden administration. While the White House continues to support Israel's right to defend itself, it has been critical of its army's operations and the number of reported civilian casualties. In a statement of his own, Netanyahu says, "I am very moved to have the privilege of representing Israel before both houses of Congress and to present the truth about our just war against those who seek to destroy us to the representatives of the American people and the entire world." The speech is scheduled for July 24th. The two NASA astronauts on Boeing's Starliner spacecraft were welcomed aboard the International Space Station Thursday. Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams will spend the next 2 weeks on the space station. Starliner docking after successfully completing a key test flight for Boeing, despite issues with the spacecraft's thrusters. The hatch between the capsule and the space station was opened roughly 2 hours after docking, letting the two NASA astronauts join the other crew members on the ISS. Finally this morning, after 41 years and over 8,000 episodes, Pat Sajak is saying goodbye to hosting the television game show Wheel of Fortune. Sajak's final episode will air today across the country. On yesterday's show, Sajak's longtime co-host Vanna White gave him an emotional send-off, looking back at their many years working together.
As this chapter of our lives is coming to an end, I know you'll still be close by. You're like a brother to me, and I consider you a true lifelong friend who I will always adore. I love you, Pat.
White will remain on the game show for another 2 seasons, with Ryan Seacrest taking over at the wheel. As for Sajak's next role, that puzzle has been solved. Variety reporting he will be starring in a community theater production in Hawaii. These are your top stories for this Friday. We'll see you back here on Monday. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great weekend.